Hi, folks. This is Mark Smith with Family Tree Life Coaching, and I am here today with our new intern that we are really pleased and happy to have. It's been difficult to have an intern in COVID days where we don't have people coming in the office, so we've had to be very creative.
Yeah.
So this is Vernon Billups. And so I'll just start out by, why don't you tell us a little bit about growing up and where you came from and what growing up was like for you?
Yeah. I am originally from Louisville, Kentucky. I was born in Elizabethtown, Kentucky, lived in Louisville, in which we moved about when I was 9 or 10. We moved to Jeffersonville, Indiana. Which is where I continued schooling and where I finished schooling. I was raised in an interracial household, my mother being Caucasian, my father being African American. I have two younger siblings, two sisters. One just graduated high school and is on her way to Howard University. The other one is currently serving for us in the Navy. I graduated from Hanover College in 2016 with a psychology degree. I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do as far as schooling goes. Psychology was kind of what I was gravitating towards. And I kind of just, I guess I would say after I graduated and I took about 6 months away from school, I knew I missed school and I wanted to further my education. I pursued basketball prior to that, so I spent a little bit of time in Berlin, Germany. I'm trying out for a few teams out there. That was a big passion of mine. A lot of hard work and dedication. I was having my twin boys at the time, so I didn't want to miss out on, them growing up. I wanted to be a part of their life, so I kind of made the decision to head on back home and enroll into a master's program where I picked up marriage and family therapy. And that's kind of where I'm at today.
I'm having a lighting problem. Go ahead and tell the people why do you want to become a therapist? I'm going to get a way to plug this in.
So I think for me, I didn't know that I wanted to be a therapist until probably the middle of undergrad. So in high school, I was drawn towards accounting and things like that. I really enjoyed those courses, but I think I enjoyed them more for the teachers that I had. They made it worthwhile to be in those classrooms. And when I graduated and transitioned to college, the school that I was going to didn't necessarily have an accounting program. So I had to think quick on my feet, what else do I want to do? Obviously, basketball was the main priority, and I always wanted to pursue that, but what do I do if that's not an option for me? And I always enjoyed talking to people. I always tell people I'm nosy, so that's part of the reason why I want to be a therapist.
I like that.
I love to know what's going on. But I think the best therapists are people that have a lot of pain and have a lot of experience. And I don't necessarily equate age to experience. Obviously, the older you are in this lifetime, the more knowledge and experience you obtain. But I think it's just mainly based on experience and growing up in a household where everything wasn't sweet. I'm not here to compare my ups and downs to the next person's, but just having a very up and down life and experiencing what a toxic marriage or family looks like. I wanted to be able to use what I know and what I've obtained and apply it to everybody else out there that may have experienced the same thing. I don't have the answers to everybody, and that's not why I wanted to be a therapist. I just wanted to help facilitate the next person's journey for whatever they're going through.
Vernon was looking at the wall, and he came across a picture of This my son and I, back when the NCAA tournament had its finals here, back when Duke beat Butler, even though, what was that guy, Hayward?
Gordon Hayward.
Gordon Hayward tossed it from half court and it just rimmed out.
Yeah.
It was right there, it would have won. But I had a connection, and my son and I were able to shoot around on the court on Sunday in between the Saturday games and the Monday night game. And I counted them, I hit 53 pointers. Nobody was guarding me. But Vernon asked me if I used to play basketball. And I was like, what? Because I still play. Except
you hit 50 today?
Oh, I know I could. Probably about 50 out of 75. I don't know if I can do it from NBA level.
No,
but
yeah.
from college level. NBA's out of my shooting range. But, the gym is shut down. That's killing me. We're not here to talk about my pain. We're here to talk about Vernon, but, oh, man. I love the game of basketball. When that Michael Jordan thing came out.
The Last Dance.
The Last Dance.
Yeah.
I watched it twice.
Mm-hmm. It's good.
I'm a big MJ.
Yeah, I noticed that when I walked in.
As you might. My daughter's named Jordan.
My fiance's name's Jordan. So
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. So, what's it been like? This is a question that we hadn't discussed. What's it been like trying to transition into becoming a therapist and doing your internship in the middle of COVID when you can't really see people in the office, and if you did, you'd have to wear a mask and they'd have to wear... What's that been like for you?
I would like to say it's, on one end, it's been rather easy because I am new, so I don't know what it's like
right
when it's not COVID.
Yeah.
But it definitely has been hard to obtain clients, especially for the first time. You know, a lot of times, at least for me, I enjoy that face-to-face interaction. I feel like you can really, get a connection there and build that trust with the client. So then moving forward, teletherapy isn't awkward or anything like that, but I kind of was looking for that opportunity to meet with people face to face, so it's been a little difficult there, but I'm making it work with the help of everybody at Family Tree. They've been very accommodating. They all have my best interests, so I feel like I'm still on the right track and I'm meeting the milestones that I need to meet. It's just the little speed bumps in the road.
Yeah. What hours are you available?
So my schedule fluctuates week to week, so I couldn't give a definitive time on when I'm available. Tuesdays are usually my open days where I'm pretty much free, so I like to cram a lot in on Tuesdays. And then throughout the week, it just depends. I'm very accommodating. I'm used to working around a flexible schedule, so just meeting the client where they're at. Most of the time I can accommodate and fit them in, for what's best for them.
Yeah. And what's your fee?
I'm actually running an internship special, so it's only $30.
Internship special.
Internship special.
Nice.
$30 per hour session.
Yeah. So, what would you say thus far? I know we really haven't had a chance to do much training with you. We do have a call it rookies meeting. We're going to meet later today with two other potential therapists down the road that we're trying to train. But thus far, what's been the most helpful thing that you've learned from the whole family tree paradigm?
I think for me, actually being able to read and understand a genogram. In school, we talk about it all the time, and it's basically a family tree for those of you that don't know. But once you start writing that stuff down on the paper, then the next step is, well, what does it actually mean? And I think for me, that's something that it's hard to learn in school. I think you have to learn out in the field with other therapists that know what they're doing. Right. And I think everybody at Family Tree has a really solid foundation with the genogram, in teaching me how to read and understand what it is I'm writing down,
I don't know if you've had a chance to spend much time with Steve Cooper yet, but I would say Steve's probably the best therapist I know. Better than me, better than anybody I know. He's really, really good. So you've got twins and then another child. So what's it like coming into the office? We've got a big TV with like waterfalls and the ocean and music playing, and there's nobody there. What's it been like to hang out at the office and chill?
Awesome. Awesome. I didn't realize how much I needed that until I walked in. And I always tell Mark, that first day that I walked in to get a tour of Family Tree, I was like, this is great. I love being at home. I love my kids. I love my family. But sometimes you just get so wrapped up in everyday life that, you don't realize how much it's important to have that moment just to yourself.
And we just happen to have a large monitor and a camera all set up so that you could use Google Meets, which is HIPAA compliant, to work with people in Indiana and all across the state and all across the city. So we were all set for you to come. So I'm going to share a little bit about the process of how we work. Family Tree has a paradigm. Every therapist that you see has a paradigm, but we spend the first 3 sessions just asking questions about your parents, your childhood, your grandparents. Sometimes we touch on great-grandparents. We want to know everything we can learn about your siblings. We want to know about previous relationships, your work history, your friends, your hobbies, your pets, your kids. We want to know you. And people say, well, I've had skeptics come in and say, oh, what, you can know me in 2 sessions? And I've been doing this so long, I'm like, give me 2 sessions. And I don't say bitch. I'm thinking it. Give me 2 sessions and let me give you some feedback, and let's see if I don't get it right. Let's see if you don't leave having learned a little bit something new about yourself that you didn't know. Not because I'm so brilliant. It's studying for generations, and people's paradigm is, I am what I am, I made myself. No, you came from people. There was a scene in the movie Roots. It was actually the book that I'm referring to, by Alex Haley. This show came out in 1976. Did you see that show in 1976?
I don't think I was conceived around that time.
I thought maybe you might have been a little bit before. I hope you've seen the reruns of Roots. Did you ever see it?
I've seen a little bit.
Okay. It was the highest rated miniseries of all time, still. But there's this scene where Kunta Kinte, who had been snatched off of the continent of Africa and brought to America, and it was a place where they were selling slaves, and he had been there a little while, and but there had been some slaves that had been there for decades and decades, and they had lost a sense of who they were. He could tell by their bone structure and coloring and he could tell which tribe they were from by looking at them. And he said, they've lost touch. They don't know who they are, and they don't know where they came from. And that's why he spent so much time putting the story into his daughter, and his daughter put the story into their kids, and their kids put the story into, until it got down to Alex Haley, and he knew all about Kunta Kinte. And that's what we try to do, is we try to figure out who you are and where you came from, because many times the most important thing that ever happened in your whole life happened before you were born. Maybe even a generation before, or two before you were born. Stuff that really impacted the family and impacted who you are. And it's fascinating, the stuff that you can find on a family tree. The other thing that we try to teach interns, and Vernon is good at this, is we try to make the room safe. In this case, the virtual room, which is sometimes hard when you're having technical difficulties. It happens sometimes. But we try to make the virtual room safe. And we don't allow people to interrupt each other or to get reactive. We try to train our students and our new therapists to be strong and be in control, not controlling. You want people to be themselves, but so often I hear people come to therapy and they're like, I can say it here because I feel safe, but I'm not going to say it at home because we might get in a big ugly fight. Are there any particular types of populations that you like working with? When I started my private practice, when I started Family Tree in '89, somebody would ask me, well, who do you specialize in? And this was back when people wrote checks. I said, I specialize in people who write me checks. That's why I specialize.
I knew the punch.
But who do you like? What kind of people do you like working with?
Well, initially, right out of school, I at one point worked at an elementary school, and I really liked working with children because they are the future. So we almost have an obligation. If we want to see change in this world, it starts with them, and sometimes we overlook that. But I'm very big on family. Obviously, hence why I'm interning here, and I think it's a great fit because I think that you can't fully understand an individual outside of the larger system that they're a part of. The family unit, that's very important. But I also just love working with people who are teachable. I think that's the biggest thing. People that are willing.
It's a joy, isn't it?
And open to what the outside world has to provide. I think that's the biggest thing for me, and definitely helps.
Okay, so this is going to be sent out to 36,500 people. Will be notified. So some of those people might desperately need a therapist. Some of our people on our list have been through horrible narcissistic abuse situation, and they have complex PTSD, and their finances are not in good shape, so they can't really afford Family Tree, but they probably could afford the $30 intern special price. So what's the best way people can contact you, Vernon, to set up some sessions?
So probably the best way right now would be via email. So Vernon Billups, VERNON BILLUPS @familytreecounseling.com. And then from there, I can respond, and we can exchange information.
Why don't you say it again and say it a little slower, just so they get it, the email address.
Okay. Yes. So the email would be Vernon Billups. So VERNON BILLUPS @familytreecounseling.com.
So he's around, he's available, and you might think, well, he doesn't have a lot of experience. He's got a lot of life experience, and he's got a good education. Tell them briefly about your school.
So my current schooling right now.
Yeah.
So I currently am enrolled at Northcentral University. It's based out on the west side of the United States, in California and Arizona. So most of my schooling from them has been virtual. Everything has been online. I've never had to travel in to a classroom or anything like that. And currently now, I meet with a supervisor from the school once a week where we discuss clients, new information, different techniques, try this, try that. Just trying to build that, build on that education.
And if some clients are open to it, we're working on some technology. If you're open to having some of your sessions recorded, we're not going to put those on YouTube.
No, definitely not.
Just simply for supervision with Andy Holzman, who is a licensed marriage and family therapist, who will be helping Vernon sort of learn as you go along, and that's a great tool if we're able to use it.
Oh yes, it's awesome. I've been able to use it with a few clients, and it even helps me just to play it back and hear it. Sometimes I don't even need, Andy to point things out. So if you ever record yourself and play it back, you pick up on a lot of things that you wish you could have.
But if they're not comfortable, it's perfectly fine
perfectly
to not
not a requirement,
to have it recorded. So give Vernon a shout. He can help you. And when there's a vaccination and people are back in circulation, we have our office on 86th Street near Nab Road, where he has a nice office there where he can see you as well. So thank you for watching. Give Vernon a call.
Thank you for having me.
Or don't call him. Give him an
or
email.
An email.
Email.
Yeah.
Email.
For now.
All right. See ya.